Today, as our proof of concept, I want to take you through a implementation of the trust game on the Algorand blockchain. Now, in the experiment, two subjects, S1 and S2, are initially given endowments E1 and E2. S1 must then decide how much of their endowment to send to S2, with the sure knowledge that whatever is sent will be tripled. After seeing the tripled amount, S2 must then decide how much to send back to S1. If K is the amount sent and R is the amount returned, then the earnings for player 1 and player 2 are given by the following equations. Player 1 earns their endowment minus the amount they sent, plus the amount that was returned to them. Player 2 earns their endowment plus the tripled amount sent minus what they returned. The incentive here is obvious for player 2 to keep all the money. And so then this leads to a question of why player 1 would trust them. But in fact, in many experiments, we see a fair amount of trust and reciprocity. Particularly if the amount sent, K, is high, we say S1 is trusting. And if the amount returned is greater than the amount sent, we say S2 is trustworthy. Let's run this experiment on the Algorand blockchain. Here is bTree running on the Vercel front end. It takes 3 user accounts on Algorand to run this experiment. So the first thing we want to do is connect the experimenter account. So we click on that, log in on our wallet, and you can see now we're connected. The next thing we have to do is set the parameters for our experiment. First, we'll set the endowment, but I'm going to put 100,000 micro algos in there. And for S2, I'll give them the same 100,000 micro algos. The multiplier, the amount will multiply the amount sent by is 3. And this micro algo step size will set to 1. There's 2 subjects in our experiment, so we'll set that to 2. 1 contract in this proof of concept. Now, when I hit deploy, we now see that it's deployed with an app IT. We can now add subjects. Once we're done, we press done, and we finally click add subjects to actually send these to the smart contract. So the smart contract now knows what subjects will be in the experiment. Now, once we've added subjects to the experiment, the next step we have to do is fund this contract so that we can actually pay subjects. So we'll hit fund session, and up pops this QR code. I'll log into it on my wallet. It'll say send transaction, and I'll select 0.45 algo. At this point, and I can check if I have the funding, and if I do, it'll allow me to start the experiment. That's enough. I was required to have 450,000, which is okay. I can start the experiment now. The first thing I notice here is this button view history. That's going to let me see what transactions are hitting the contract. So subject 1 will connect their wallet. So let's do that now. They're going to load globals from the contract. And now they have the amount they can invest. That's going to be their investment. Now, this will go out to the contract. And once it's confirmed, they can say they're done. And now they're waiting for subject 2 to make their decision. Subject 2 will connect their wallet. And once subject 2 is connected, we'll be able to load the globals again. Notice the contract now knows that 50,000 were sent. The tripled amount is 150,000. So they're going to pick a return in micro algos between 0 and 150,000. So let's say they pick 75,000. We'll be asked to confirm it on that side. Essentially, they've made the 2 decisions. So the session's over, except for what the experimenter now has to do. All this time, they've been able to watch the history as it unfolds. Now we see the investment of 50,000, which means Subject 1 got a payment right away of $50,000, which was the $100,000 endowment minus the $50,000 they sent. And then subject 2, if you remember, returned $75,000. So subject 1 got paid $75,000. And player 2 got $100,000 endowment plus the remaining $75,000 from the tripled amount. So it's all there. Okay, so let's go up here, connect back the experimenter wallet. Now they can finish the experiment. They confirm that they're finishing the experiment. The first thing we notice is they can download a file that's going to read the transactions on the blockchain using Lore Explorer. So this is a complete history now of this experiment, and this history is on the blockchain. The next thing we want to do is sweep what's left in the experimenter's account. So the sweep just finished, and we can see that, in fact, the payments have been swept back. Finally, last step, we can delete the app space. Okay, that pretty much ends the walkthrough. Well, thank you for watching this short video on bTree.